Hello, welcome to another special Sudoku solve video. Today I have a puzzle by yttrio, who has been delivering some very good loop puzzles lately, so I was looking at this and I thought I'd try recording it. I've been sick this past week, so I'll see how this goes, and if it doesn't go well, then probably no one is seeing this. But yeah, let's see. Wait, let's look at the rules first. Pause. Yeah. Draw a one cell wide loop of orthogonally connected cells. The loop may not touch itself, not even diagonally. That's normal loop rule. The loop acts as both an entropic line and a parity line. Entropic line. Each set of three adjacent digits along the loop must be one low, 1, 2, 3, one medium, 4, 5, 6, and one high digit. I do like that a lot more than modularity, but I'm still not very used to entropic lines, so we'll see how that goes. Parity line. Digits along the loop must alternate between even and odd. Sure. Digits in cells with arrows count how many loop cells are in the indicated direction, not including the cell itself. Okay, so from that I do know that two cells, okay, so imagine if this isn't loop, right? Then these cells are looking at the same set of cells and they need at least one, so they would both be the same number. So that has to be a loop cell. Now, that is 1, 2, or 3, that is 1, 2, 3, or 4. Interesting. There is no other easy loop cells. Can this be part of the loop then? Then that is 4. Then that is a different parity and a different set. Right. Okay, so so if that wouldn't be 4, then these would both be of the same parity, so that would have to then be 4, and that would have to be 3. But that's possible, I think. I don't see why not. Okay. So let's think about something else. This needs to see at least one of those cells. Could it ever not see that one? And I don't think it can, because the loop cannot turn back on itself. This is always part of the loop. Now, could that be part of the loop? Could that be part of the loop? If it is, it does this, right? Because it has to go in with a wide angle, so then it connects. But that does mean it has to be the same parity. And it has to be 1, 2, or 3. And it couldn't, because then this would see 3 cells, and this would already see 3 cells, so that couldn't be 3. So that's not part of the loop. But it could do this still. That's still possible, I think. Okay. This sees 5. I'm not going to label 1 through 5. Right. That could then not be part of the loop because it cannot see 4 cells. Okay, that makes sense. And this couldn't see 3 cells anymore, it can see a maximum of 2 cells. This couldn't just see 1 cell because it already sees 2 cells. Okay, and it couldn't be part of the loop. I said that. So this has to turn in like that, because that's just how loop works. Let's see now. Now we know that that's a 2. We know that that's a 3. That's more information, I guess. Then that is low again. But we're working with a parity thing, so that is odd. That's even again, so that's 4, 6, or 8. That's odd, and the next number, whichever one of these that is even again. But that's then odd again, so it's not a 2. This sees 3 cells, it has to see more. Okay, that is interesting, because if it does, right, because the loop cannot touch itself, so it cannot just take 2 cells, it has to take at least 3. So that means that this is actually, since it isn't 3, right, because it sees 3 already, it is 6 or 7. Because it's either all of them, or some, or just 3 of them. And if it's 3, it can be that, and if it's all of them, it's that. So it's always those two. And we don't know. A weird thing is, right, because normally with the German whisper loops that yttrio does, he likes to implement the checkerboard rule, where the polarity is dependent of its location. That doesn't work with entropy, but it does work with the parity. So, because it switches, right? It switches every cell. So in a checkerboard pattern, odd, even, odd, even. And on a checkerboard pattern, they'll all be the same. So I know the parity of those, but I don't know their entropic state, I guess. Even, 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 even. So that's an even. Or 6 or 8. If that is on the line, is that a thing? I'm thinking, right, because if this is now on the line, and that is, I'm not gonna color it, but then that's 4, 6, or 8, and then that's 7, so then that's green. Or it's not on the line, and then that's green as well, because we need 3 cells, so that's always on the line. It has to move away from that corner, so it does that. And we know that parity. I don't like labeling this, but I will, just to keep remembering it. Okay. Okay, now, I wasn't gonna label 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but now I am. I guess, but since that's not 2 or 3, we know that, and I think it cannot be 5. If it's 5, yeah, no, if it's 5, you basically, these connect somehow, and then you end the loop there. So that's not 5. 4 is difficult, isn't it? Let's think. Yeah, it's doable, it's doable. It could even be part of the loop, I think, and then it has to be 4, then it cannot be 1. Right, and then that's odd. And it's not 1 or 3, so it's 5, 7, or 9. So maybe, right, even if that's part of the loop, it's not a 1. So where is the next small digit? Could be there, with a 1 or a 3. I don't know. I don't know. So every entropy set has some difficulty, I think. Because it either has 1 even digit or only 1 odd digit, and I think that's very forcing. So maybe that's something. This is also 1 through 4, but I don't know yet. If this is 1, it's not part of the loop. We know that, because then it's too soon of a small digit. Then where's the next small digit going to be? It's going to be one of those, but it cannot be 1, 2, or 3, so I don't think that is 1. Whoops. I don't think that is 1, that is a 4, but it doesn't necessarily have to be part of the loop, I don't think. But 4 was very restricted. How can I... Okay. Let's just go cell by cell. If that's not part of the loop, is that a problem? And this comes... Well, it could come out here. No, okay, so then all of these would have to be green. And this would have to connect somewhere, somehow, but always touch this. That's not possible. That has to be on the loop. How can that be off the loop? And all of those are green? How is this going to connect to anything? It can't. So that's not true. That's green as well. That's off the loop. I do not see an issue. Oh yeah, no, okay, no, that's fine, I think. Yeah, that's fine. I presume that the last one is also fine, yeah. Okay. So we know that those are on the loop. Let's see, and some of them are even. That's a 6 or an 8. That is an odd digit. It's... Could it be 1 again? It could be 1 again. In fact, does it have to be? Right, I think it has to be. Okay, makes sense. Because what's the next small digit going to be? It's either going to go like that, or it's going to go like that. So that's always a small digit, and it's odd, so it's a 1. And this is a non-small digit that is odd, so it's 5, 7, or 9. Right. When is the next small digit going to happen? Is that a good question? It's not there. We know that because that's all of them. So could that be on the loop is my question. If it is, right, and this turns in, and then that has to be a small digit. So that isn't on the loop. So we know that that's a 6. We know that those are in 6s. So we know that that's loop. We need 4 of them. So it couldn't be that one at this point, because then that would be loop, and then they would diagonally touch. So this is not loop, that is loop. That seems fine so far. So this is now not 1 or 2, it's 3 or 4. When is the next small digit going to be? It's that one, and it's an even one, so we know that that's a 2. Then this one, and we know it's an odd one, so that's a 1. That's not a 2. But it is 4, 6, or 8, I think. We don't know if that's on the loop or not, I don't think. Okay. So this is on the loop, and it's small again, and it's a small even one, so that's a 2. Could that ever be green? No, because then it would branch. That's not true, so it's a 3. That's gray. In fact, that's gray. You know that that is gray. You know that that is gray, and this either does this, or it does this, but then that can never be on the loop, and that can never be on the loop. We have some stuff. Let's see if we can fill. We know that this is odd and high and high or medium. We know that about all of these, I think. 5, 7, 9. So 5, 7, 9, triple, and one of those is a 3. So one of those is a 3, but not the arrow, so that's one of those is a 3. Okay, so 2 of these are high. So if that is medium, that is medium, that is medium, and that's them both a 5. If that is high, that is high, that is high. Okay, so those cannot be 5s, that makes sense. That's a 5. That doesn't do anything, I don't think, except that that's now 7 or 9. Oh, and we know that that's then an 8. Yep. And then after low comes medium. So that's not an 8, but that makes sense. Let's move this back as well. After medium... Wait. Oh, I assumed that the 4 was on the loop. I don't think the 4 can be on the loop. After low comes medium, so that's a 5. And after medium comes high, so not a 4. So that's that, and then that's an 8. Moving this back. After high, wait. After high comes medium. After high comes medium. That's gray. That is a 7 or 9. After low comes medium. Oh, that's 4 or 6. Okay. 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 In fact, where in this row do 4 and 6 go? They go there, so that's now a 3. It's not a 3. So that's green. After low comes medium, and it's odd, so we know that that's a 5. After a 5 comes a high even digit, so that's an 8. So the 8 can only go there. It's very restricted. I like that as well. The minimalist arrows as well. Oh, cool. So what now? Right, after low comes... Oh, the next one is an 8, isn't it? High, yeah, low. Low comes high, even. That must be an 8, so that must be an 8. But we can never reach that cell anymore. After an 8 comes a medium odd digit, so it must be a 5. But that could be a 5. Or that could be a 5, okay. Yeah, either one of those could be 5. If that's a 5, yeah, whatever. How much can that be? Right? That is 6, 7. So 7, so it could be 1, 2. Could it be 1? No, then, yeah, it could be if that moves along that, okay. 1, 2, 3 isn't possible, 4 is possible, 5 isn't possible, and 7 is... I think. I cannot see why not. This now sees or already sees all of this, so it's either 6 or 7. It cannot be 8. At this point, I don't know what to do anymore. If that isn't clear. Okay, so after 5, right? If that's 5, if one of those is 5, what's the next digit? It is an even low digit, so it must be 2. So if that's 5, that's 2. So that cannot be 5. So that must be 5. Then the next one is an even low digit, so it must be 2. So that's now not 2 or 1 anymore. 4 or 7. Let me think. If that's 2, the next digit is 7 or 9. So let's think. If that can be on a loop, I think. If it is 7. That means that all of these have to be on a loop, and then we have a branch. So it isn't. Okay, so it is not on the loop. It could still be 7. After 7, you have an even medium. No, that's 4 or 6. That's, I think, too restricted. This arrow be 5. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It already sees 2 of them. So that is already 2, but it is not 2, not 5, and not 4. So we know that that's a 3 exactly. We can only have one more passing through here. We need to have exactly one passing through here. Okay. Well, I guess that's a 1 now. This next digit here, then. It's low odd digit, so it's a 1 or a 3. Either a 1 or a 3, okay. And if that's a 3, that's a 7. I don't know. I have a feeling, is it hard to make that a 7? Is there something wrong with that? Because I feel like, right, you could still have some wiggle room there. And then the next digit is just a 9. Okay. And after a 9, after a 7 or a 9, you get an even medium digit. So it's a 4 or a 6. But there is still a lot of room for that as well. Okay, no, I don't think that's it. Sudoku? Maybe? One of those is a 3, I know, sort of know. This is a 2-5 pair. This is a 2-5 pair. That's a 2-5 pair, so that's a 2-5 pair. Interesting. But 3 still not very limited. I don't know anything yet. How do you do this? Do I need to think about the next small digit? Maybe that 3, I think. Next digit is odd. If that is a 4... Right, okay. If that is a 4, we cannot have another bend come into this, because then we have too many digits. So it would have to come off of this. If it's a 7, it has to come off of this. So those are always green. So that is a 7 or a 9. That's a 4 or 6, but a 6 specifically. After an even medium, you get an odd low, which isn't this one. So we know that this is 4. We know that those are gray. After a medium even, you get an odd, you get an odd low. After an odd low, you get a high even, which is always an 8. That's not an 8, so that must be the 8. After that, you get the 825. Interesting, okay. So the next digit is a 5. So it's that one. After that, you get a 2, which to be fair is in one of those. Oh, no, you know. 5, 2, so we know that that's a 2 as well. Very, very cool. Sudoku, anything? One of those of 5. Oh, we don't have that one fixed yet. There's fireworks going off outside my house. It's not even the end of December yet. let's go. Oh, okay, so one of those an 8. So one of those an 8, so that's an 8. That is Sudoku. I'm missing 1, 7, and 9. That's not a 1, so we know that that's a 1. We're missing 1, oh, 1, 3, and 4. That's not a 3. In fact, one of those is a 4. One of those is a 4. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue this. What comes after the 2? It's a 7 or a 9. It's not there, it's there. So that's a 7 or a 9. So those are inaccessible now. After a 7 or a 9, we get 4 or a 6. I don't know. Okay. This could never be part of the loop, because if it is, you get too many cells in this column. So it's not part of the loop. Actually, either this is or this isn't, so that's not. Then that means that all of this is inaccessible. So we kind of know it's something like that. The next digit here is, oh, because I placed this 1, that can be 1 or a 3, so that's now a 3. So we know that this is this, and the final digit is a 4 or a 6. We know that that's a 7, 9. Oh, it doesn't place that. Okay, never mind. That's now not a 3, that's also 4 or 6. Oh, that 7 places the 9, 7. Well, that's the loop, at least. Right, this 4-6 pair places a 4-6 pair into this column, but I said that there's a 4 up there, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there's a 4 up there. So that's a 4, that's a 6. This now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 8. Could have done that quicker, probably. 2, 5. Seven makes one of those a 7. This misses 7, 6, and 9. Right, yeah. That's not a 9, but sure. That doesn't do anything. This is just a 2. Is that all the 2s? No, but it does place a 2 and a 5. 2, 5, 5. Oh, I have the numpad lock on, where it fades out the numbers if I filled in them all. Do I normally have that on? I don't know. I feel like I don't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. It is a very useful tool, though, because especially me, at the end I just tend to double click digits just to see what I'm missing. I still do it, so I don't know how much it helps, but I like the idea. 8 I probably have a lot of. One of those being an 8. And one of those is an 8. That doesn't matter. What is it then? 6s? No, right? One of those is 6, sure. I'll label that. Which columns? columns, rows, anything. Ones. I did pretty well. I went fairly quickly through this puzzle, but now at the end I'm just not seeing anything. I'm not seeing it. That might be me though. After? No, that doesn't influence anything. Why am I so stuck with this? Well, that's not a 7, I guess. Why am I getting so stuck with this? Where am I going wrong now? 3, I'm missing. Oh well, if that's a 7 or a 9, that breaks that cell. So that's a 3. That's a nice spot. I don't know if that's intended or not, but sure. Right. Now we have quite a few digits in there. It's still 4. I am missing, speaking about 4, I'm missing 4 in that column, so one of those is a 4. And that combines with those 4s. So that must be no, that cannot be a 4. It doesn't mean that must be a 4, because that's actually not true. Necessarily. But that is another 1. So that means that that's not a 1. Making a 3-4 pair. Ones? No. I thought I saw something, but I didn't. I don't know. I feel. Oh, 1. Let's do the easy things, please. 8. 8. See, 8. It's all the 8s. I might keep the number thing on. I don't know if that's something that like setters can enable, or if that's something that I can enable. I feel like I can change it in the settings, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. 9, one of those is a 9. Well, we know that this one isn't a 9, so that must be a 9. So that's a 6 or a 7. Okay. I don't know. I'm still feeling a bit sick. After last week, I had a horrible week. But yeah, no, it's fine. I got some time to catch up on some lab journal writing that I had to do. So that's cool. I might have found an internship. I'm hearing more about that soon. So that is always interesting. See. Okay, I need a 6 in this bottom row. It's there. I could have seen that before, a lot earlier actually. But that's not a 6. One of those now 6 and one of those? Well, that could be. Never mind. One of those, one of those, one of those, and one of those. Yeah, that's a deadly pattern. I can see that. This misses 7 and 9. So in this column, in this row, I'm missing 4 and 6 again. Getting quite clear what I'm missing, isn't it? A 1. There's still 1 in one of those. Why is this part so difficult for me? Oh wow, I could have. That's why, probably. Right? Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's 4, then that's a 3, a 4. Probably because I missed stuff like that. No, that's a 1. That's a 1. Okay. That's better. Oh, I done all the 4s. But by a long shot, not all the 7s though. 3s? I feel like I should be able to do those, yeah. That's 6, 7, 9. So 7, 9. That must be 6. Let's do all the 6s first. Now we have 7, 9, 7, 9, 7. Come on, man. 7, 9, 7, 9, 9, and 7. Very nice puzzle. I felt like I was a bit dry through that though. But that's fine. I hope you did enjoy, and I hope you have a nice day, and thank you. Bye.